basically be finishing up Shin Chav Gimel. And on the Mar Mekaymis, there's a lot of side issues. We're going to discuss a lot of them right now. In Yana Bavarian Negei L'Maisa. After that, everyone should start Siman Shin Lamed. It should not take too long. There's a lot of Yana that we saw already. We'll do that for a few days, and then we'll spend maybe the rest of most of the week doing the sugya of Shurim B'Challah, and then afterwards we'll have a few days left hopefully for the end of Zman. We'll try to make some kind of a chazar on this side.
You're going to finish Shin B'Challah?
What's that? I don't know. I don't think so. Depends how long Shalom takes and how long Shurim takes, but Pashtus not. And then there is what to be mashlim, like the mayor's pointing out, in the end of Shin Chav Daled, and I think it's Shin Chav Vav. There's also a little bit. We did most of it. Shin Chav Daled, mostly the end of Shin Chav Daled is what to be mashlim and Chazar. Maybe the last few days of Chazar. So anyway, Shin Chav Gimel is be'etzem dinim of Taroivis Challah. Shin Chav Daled is a little bit more the dinim of Taroivis Tevel. Less common Shailos to have Tevel mixed into an Isa of Chulin. The more Shechiach that your Shailos where the Challah that you were mafresh goes back in accidentally, which somehow is some kind of segula to mix it back in. I see the Challah back into your Isa. Ad Kedei Kach, the Mikdash Ma'at brings, it's quoted in the Beis Yosef, that they suggest that every Isha make a Tanai. Every single time she's mafresh, that if it gets mixed back in, it should be bottled the hafrasha. Beis Yosef mentions that Mikdash Ma'at recommends that. I don't think it's the minhag. I'm not sure if it's such a smart idea to start telling them all kinds of Tanai kafels to make b'shas hafrasha Challah. That's probably why they don't do it. Akopanim. So we have here the dinam of bittul. And in the Mela, the Ramah brings the eitzas. What happens if we don't have a sheer bittul, which is to make either to add more, should question of bittul is hilchatchila, or to be shoyal, that because it's something that's makdish b'peh, challah and shubas ma'asos, you can be shoyal just like hatar of a neder. You can be shoyal in your freshest challah. And where this is most legeya, and that's bigger what I want to focus on, are all the shaylos that happen erev Shabbos and on Shabbos, where either someone chaps that their challah made its way back into the isa, either in the dough form or when it's already baked. Whether that shayla comes up erev Shabbos, it's an afkamina, whether it comes up erev Shabbos, samach l'shtia, when sometimes it's a bit of bahala and hard to do some of the galata eitzas. And what happens on Shabbos alein? Is there any eitz on Shabbos alein? Someone comes and their challah is tevel, either because of a tarevis or because they forgot to be mafresh challah from the challah. It's very common shayla. And we'll see the different eitzas from the poskim. Many of the eitzas were only said b'shas at chag gadol. L'mashal on Lal HaSeder, if they didn't take from their chabura matzah, they weren't mafresh challah. I think most of the chaburas make some kind of eitzah that it shouldn't be chashash tevel. So let's just get straight the basic klalim of the tarevis challah beisa. So lagabe chalas chutz la'aretz, there's machlokes rishonim. What's the sheer bittul? When your little challah goes back in the isa, is it enough to just have roiv? Many rishonim should say Rambam, or like Shittas Tosfos, that even in chalas chutz la'aretz you need chad b'meya. That's all only with regards to chutz la'aretz. In Eretz Yisrael, the sheer b'chol ofen is chad b'meya. Now, even in Eretz Yisrael, l'maisa the Ramah is machmir. That's Shittas Ramah brought over here in Gimel. It's machlokes machaber Ramah. What's that? Also, dafka chutz la'aretz. Only the Ramah. There's no machmir in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, everyone's maskim the sheer is chad b'meya. The whole nidin machlokes rishonim and the machlokes machaber Ramah is in chutz la'aretz. So in chutz la'aretz machaber paskins, it's enough to have either shaveh b'shaveh or roiv b'ketzer b'derech klal. If your little challah goes back in the isa, if you the machaber, you're not going to have problems. If you bottle, if you the Ramah, you do need chad b'meya. L'maisa, there's another machlokes mavur teichad dvarim over here, and that is if you the machaber, that chad betray, the bittul b'roiv could be done either l'chatchila. There's no isser bittul l'chatchila, and the Ramah who's machmer to treat it like regular chalas Eretz Yisrael, who hadin that you can't be mavatal isser l'chatchila even chad b'meya. The Dagol Mervava over here, even a chutz la'aretz. The Ramah's chumrah in chutz la'aretz, in order to eat for a zar, even you're not allowed to be mavatal even chad b'meya. Yeah, so you can never do bittul l'chatchila. Now, it's never really negeya. I don't think too many people really have a taiva to take their challah and stick it back into the isa. Where it is negeya is where it mixed in, and there was no sheer bittul. So if you do the chaber, there's always sheer bittul because you have roiv. Okay, let's just try to think practically. If you have a little piece of challah going back to the isa, it's not a problem. If you do amal, could be a problem. Hopefully next week we'll try to figure out exactly the sheer challah, exactly how much a kazayis is the umas the sheer challah, and if there's generally very often the nashim don't know, did I have chad b'meya, not chad b'meya? We'll try to figure that out. What the stam hafrasha is chad b'meya or not chad b'meya. Al kol panim, what the Dagol Mervava is mekel, which is a big atol, is that even if you didn't have a sheer bittul, it was a sheer tzumtzum of challah and the isa and the challah went back into the isa and it wasn't batul, it's mutter yes lahoisif al isa. If she realizes when it's either isa, you could just be moisif a little bit more dough and that would be Vatla I, Bittul Chatchila. So Dogma Vava is Mitzaref Shita Sarashba, that in Yeridea we know that there's a Shita in Rishonim that if it's an Issa D'Rabbanan, even if you don't allow Bittul Issa Chatchila, if it's already in a Tarayvis and you want to be Moisef Allah, you'd be allowed to do that. Dogma Vava says you can do that. The Dogma Vava is then a little bit Choshish because maybe the first Tarayvis has already a din of Chanan, without getting into the details, which just basically means the whole thing is Nechshav 1 Chaticha D'Isura. The Meister the Das Kedoshim a few times in our Simon Shin Chav Gimbal's Meirich, it says it like 3 or 4 times that there's no Chashash for Chanan B'Shar Yisurim. The Chashash for Chanan B'Shar Yisurim, whoever is following, fine. If not, don't worry about it. That the Chashash for Chanan B'Shar Yisurim does not apply to Chas Chutzlaretz, and there's no Chashash to Chumra Balma. Fine. So that would be theoretically an Eitzah. If the Shechab said there's no Shir Bittul, you'd be allowed to be Moisef more like the Dogma Mavav at some sense.
Don't we have two Rishonim? By our Sukkah, the Rambam and Ramban says that that's before the Shach and Gemara. The Levat means if the John makes it by mistake, you don't employ it. As well. Why would you want to be?
Yeah, well, certainly.
By us,
yeah, no. Yeah, I'm just saying like this. Halacha l'maisa, that the Ramah is machmir for Shitas Hari, that it's chad b'meya, and you're not allowed to be vatal l'chatchila. The Dogma Mavava makes a shtickle Torah, a hachra, a psak, that the tziruf kamashitas we can be made fine. And that's l'chayr and eitzah. Again, I don't know how practical it is. As we'll see, we have probably much more pashut eitzahs. But in a chanami, if she's gvuli and she's not exactly sure, and she can make another little isa and stick it into the big isa, and then in that way for sure have chad me'ah, that would be an eitzah.
But he's saying you could also be relying on the other shitas that the shir chalas may be bigger. You also maybe do that.
Okay. We'll
Plus
see
the
about
water
that.
and the other stuff.
I think our problem usually is that the shir chal is going to be smaller, not bigger. But we'll leave that point for now. See about that next week. Now there's a whole discussion also about Yavish B'Yavish, much less common Shailah, and that's the question if somehow the Challah itself got turned into a Chali, it went to a little Bilkala and it got mixed in with other Bilkalach, or somehow it was Kula Challah. Lamaisa by Yavish B'Yavish, the shear is also Chad B'Meya. It's not so negay b'derech klal. Lamaisa there's a problem with the Ramah because of what the Ramah passes in Kuf Test by double Chashuv. Yavish B'Yavish also means Chad B'Meya by Challah. But the problem is that if you have a challah of challah, a bread of truma, so it's a problem. It's a davar chashuv, pashas, it's never bottle. The question how that works. We'll leave that for now. It's not really not so again. We're going to try to focus on things that are again ma'isa. And then obviously there's also the din of min b'she'ein aminoi, which is a much smaller shear. Again, when does the challah ever end up in something other than the isa? Challah and the isa is min b'minoi, chad b'meir. If it goes into some other thing, if somehow the thing looks like a knedel and goes into your chicken soup, then you'd snicker, you have to take it out. Or into the cholent, yeah, Ellie's going to find a few cases about that. Kitzer, it's chad b'shishim, it's regular, because the whole gzeira comes from a sefriya, is only min b'minoi that it's shaykh to be mafresh min b'minoi. But min b'she'ein aminoi is regular din of bittul b'shishim. Again, very, very not so shechiach. So we're going to focus really on the common cases, the two common cases. Either the challah got mixed in, very often it's a suffix, she's not sure, the challah just disappeared. And then they find it stuck under the table on Shabbos afternoon, expanding from under the table. But she thinks it got mixed in, that's one shayla. Or the shayla of very common shayla, just they forgot, they weren't mafresh. No afresh b'chal, Friday night, Shabbos day. So the big eitzah chutz from bittul is, if you don't have the sheer bittul and you don't want to be moisef, she doesn't want to start making another challah, is the eitzah that the Ramah saves the day with his eitzahs from Yisrael Smak, that challah is something that's makdish repet, so it's shaykh she'elu just like hataras nedarim. So talk to Ramah, yeil chaytel chacham, and to be matir neder, you can be matir your challah. What happens when you're matir your challah? It goes back to being tevel, which can be mafresh one more time. Great. So first of all, the poskim will point out that even though the Ramah, Shigur Delishna quoted the din of hafrasha of hatara al yidei achacham, so it's mavur already in the beginning of Reish Chav Ches, the dinim of hataras nedarim, that this man hazeh, we're not soymech on a yochid mumche. That's right at the beginning of Hilchos nedarim. We're not soymech on one yochid. You need 3 people, so you'd have to actually find 3 men. One of them should not be your husband because it's his challah, it's his isa, and basically to make a pesach and a charato. That's what's described over there. I brought some of the Marmakomis over here. It's a Reish Pesach Zayin, that she should be asked, or he should be asked, whoever's doing it, that they're mischaret, obviously, that they ever took off challah, and then you make a pesach out of the charata. That if you knew you would have been mischaret, would you have ever been noider? No, you wouldn't have been noider. Mutter-lach, challah muteres, whatever lashon you want to use, ois challah, and it's mutter. Now, what? And then you have to take off challah again. Then it's back to tell you take off challah again. What's that?
Mit der Bracha?
So there's a discussion about the bracha. There's different pikpukim. Some poskim are choishish for the Taz we're about to mention. Other poskim think that the first bracha still vibes. The pashup shot, Stimas called poskim, is that yes, you make a second bracha. The first one is ois. It's not a problem. Bracha batala, b'shait that was fine. Whichever lumdus you want to use to explain that. And al kapanim you would make a second bracha and a second afrasha. Now,
Does she need to make a mashliach?
who the wife to the husband? So
He knows that- he
we're going
knows
to speak about
that
shlichus.
situation, but she never-
We're going to speak about shlichus. The husband and the wife, kipshutai. So l'chomra, each one should make the other one a shliach because there's a little bit of a suffix who should be the one doing the afrasha. Pashtus, either one can do it on their own without a shlichus. Now, you're not allowed to make a shliach for hataras nedarim or for hataras challah, but a husband and wife are allowed to make a shliach for hataras nedarim. That's what people do in Erev Rosh Hashanah. That's a din later in Hilchos nedarim that for husband and wife it's ishta kegufa and you could make a shlichus. So it is okay to make a shliach and others to make a shlichus just to cover your bases.
Why?
So we're not sure because it's a question who's the shliach, who's the mishalech. By a shliach and mishalech, question who should do the hatar. It's a whole discussion in the place. So even if we assume we're both good, so
But make her a din without a shlichus. He knows that it got mixed in. She doesn't know anything about Nadarim. She just wants.
that's fine. It's his. Yeah, he could be matter like kipshuta. He could be matter neder without. Yeah.
Unless you were saying more like they both have bias over the mitzvah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
both
a
theirs. Kipshuta, it's not. Kipshuta, it's a joint isa, and they could both be after Shailos. It's fine. That's again a husband and wife.
The way kibbutz bezdin also by nidrei ishta you're not allowed to do that, right?
Now they do right. So here we could be samech on the fact that it's you're a bailam and they
No, even so you're saying it's on me.
right. So he could be makabetz and
But even
again-
Monashach, you can say still that it's like a Isser, it's not her like something that everyone does, whatever. So she can be fed on it.
right. They're machalik between regular darim and a fresh shumas anyway. So b'derech that's not an issue. Now again, so the Taz is machmir. It's an amazing thing. Taz yush arichus. Taz is chaluk on the Ramah, chaluk on the Rishonim, and thinks that this is not a proper Pesach and Charata because it's Pesach b'noilad. It's something that happened after the Hafrasha, and it doesn't work. Now halach l'maisa we pass like the Ramah. It's a shach. It's before like that. Chacham Sadam, Mikdash Ma'at, many places in Aruch HaShulchan. So halach l'maisa this is definitely an eitzah.
What was the Pesach that she was mischared?
Basically, without getting into the details, the charata is that she's inspired that she took this challah because this challah ended up back in the thing. That's the charata. So she's mischared that she ever took off a challah that went into this isa. That's the charata. From that, we're supposed to make a pesach. The pesach is if you would have known that would have happened, would you have ever in the first place done this? The answer is no.
So how can I say I'm mischaret to my wife?
Yes, something like that. Right.
How can I
And
say
this is telling the arichas of the Taz. It's a little bit questionable, but that's
how
how.
can I
It
say I'm mischaret to my wife being mafresh? What's the nusach that I say? I'm mischaret my wife was mafresh challah today. So.
Yeah. She was doing it either with your
I'm not
rishos,
mischaret, she just
with
allowed
your. She was. You're mischaret that it happened. That your dough, that something was hufresh from your dough. When it was done, it worked. Had it worked because it was nicha to you. Because either she was your shliach, because she's your shliach every week, or because like the goyim brings them to Tosefta that an isha could do the isa's baila. So it works. So you're mischaret. What happened to your isa? Okay.
No.
So that's the eitzahs. That's basically how it works. Either he or she should find 3 anoshim, not one mumche, be mafresh on the challah, be mischaret, make a pesach, and then it's back to tevel, be mafresh again. So that would be in a perfect world. But often this is not a practical eitzah, and we run into various different problems. The first problem is the problem that the Darkei Moshe already raises from the Revile, that the Ramah Betzim quotes, the Shach explains, and that is that this whole eitzah, to be shoyal, that lemafreya, the challah is not challah, and memela lemafreya, the whole thing is tevel. You can only turn it lemafreya back into tevel if no one ate from it. But if you ate from it, so then you can't turn it into tevel lemafreya, because then you're going to goyim yourself lemafreya to eat tevel. Now, achalas chutz la'aretz, what we're referring to is obviously if the entire thing was eaten. Because the entire thing was not eaten, great, turn it back into tevel, and that's the din we know by chalas chutz la'aretz. You're allowed to eat the whole time and just leave over a little bit at the end. So this is referring to a case of chalas chutz la'aretz, where the entire thing was eaten, and we can't turn you into an oichel tevel lemafreya. But anyway, lemafreya, I ate a ta'aroives of challah in chulin. So says the shach, pashut, that's a chumrah. Roiv shitas and chutz la'aretz, many shitas are shown to be samichan, that it's only batal b'roiv. So it's much more kal to leave it at that. Now that's in chutz la'aretz. What happens to us in Eretz Yisrael? So l'maisa, by us, even if you were only oichel from the isa a little bit, you're going to have this problem. Because you ate a taroivis of challah. In tzadach you have the same problem. In tzadach we have a little bit of an eitzah. Meaning like this. You ate a little bit of it, of this taroivis of challah and chulin. And you want it, so she's stuck. She wants to be shoyl. Well, the Maisa, he already, he made a bunch of rolls and things. not different flavors, Chas v'shalom. And the husband or someone from the mishpacha had a few rolls for lunch Friday afternoon, and they want to be shoyal. So if you're going to be shoyal l'mafreya, what happened is he ate tevel. So even if you're going to go then mikanu lahaba and be mafresh again, but it's too late. There's tevel in his stomach. You can't be mafresh chal, the tevel in his stomach.
But you could always be mafresh at Challah.
I'm not talking about chal, I'm talking about Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, if you ate even just a little bit in chutz la'aretz, if you ate a little bit, you can do this. It's no problem. You're allowed to eat in chutz la'aretz tevel, what we call tevel chutz la'aretz. But in Eretz Yisrael, even if you just ate a little bit, hafresh l'mafreya is going to make it such that whoever had lunch Friday afternoon, a few of the chalis, was tevel. So memela, the question. What?
Why is that not a steer that he was telling me that you can become tevel l'mafreya, but you can't be mafresh?
Nimtza was tevel because there was no hafrasha.
So what is it in his stomach? It's not in his stomach. It's garnished in
So
his stomach.
you are raising the point of the Chassam Sofer. I think I brought it over here, the Mar Malcolm. Yeah, in Chuvas Yordei Rishon Gimel. The Chassam Sofer says it's no problem with Mafreya. That's the svar that we discussed many times until I found it. The Chassam Sofer is chaylik on the shah. And there's a tshuva in Shevet Alevi, and it seems there was some misunderstanding by a shoyal that he was asked a Shailos. And he told them to be shoyal. And they came back to me and said, what do you mean? It's against Shulchan Aruch what you said. So it wasn't right there in the tshuva, I think I quoted the Mar Malcolm here, that he didn't know they ate from it. They didn't tell him that prat. And he says, but anyway, Shno, ein maschlirin, someone who wants to be samech on the Chassam Sofer, the Chassam Sofer holds this as mutter. And why is this nagea?
What?
Even if you ate, you could be mafresh l'mafreya. Ay l'mafreya, you ate tevel. Like Rabbi Yishman saying, it's not called eating tevel l'mafreya. It's not an emes l'mafreya. B'shas ma'is you ate it was beheter, so it was okay. It was really b'tarevis. Now, why is this very nagea? Because if you think about it, one second. If you think about it, there's an issue. There's an issue with this whole chumrah of eating from it in Eretz Yisrael. What are we saying in Chutz? Don't be l'mafreya, eat tevel. We'd rather leave it that l'mafreya you just ate a tarevis of chulin, and challah, which was probably batlan made b'roiv. But in Eretz Yisrael, the shir is l'kuli al mochad b'meir. So what's the problem to go l'mafreya? Anyway, I for sure ate iser. I ate challah that was mu'urav with chulin, which was for sure not batal. So what's the difference if l'mafreya I turn into kulei tevel? So maybe the Raisa, the Rabbanon, in a Chanamis. That's what Bloy brings from some Achronim.
Work is easy to visit.
What's that?
Work is easy to visit.
Okay, assuming there's no Chanan, right? In a Chanami. In a Chanami is more. These are the Svar that Achronim say.
What
So
is
I'm just pointing out.
Sorry.
So used to learn in Koilel, Chanan. So you're right, and this is the Svar. So in Rabbi Sefer and Lekanoimer, so he brings various Svarim that say it's all pointed out. It's not a davar bar. The Shach's halacha was said, l'gabe chalz chutz, which means when you ate tarevis of chulin and challah, it's meikar din mutter. The Ramah is machmer for shitas taisis. The meikar din roiv rishonim all is mazel b'roiv. So there it's klar what the Shach says al pi the Ramah, that better leave it like that and don't go l'mafreya b'ik tevel. In Eretz Yisrael it's less pashut. I'm not saying there's no hesber. It's worse. It's mazel b'roiv. It's more kazesim avisser. But l'maisa, either way, you're stuck with an Isser. So is it klar 100% that the Shach was talking about Challah Shayt Yisrael as well? That you can't be shown mafrei even if you ate? I'm not sure. Pashtus, yes. What I'm saying is like this. Klabi mad var mamur. Let's talk about some halacha l'maisa, maisa shay. So an isha comes, she baked challah. It was nisarev, she didn't have a sheer bittel. So it's 2 hours before, and then all the challahs are baked already, and there was no sheer bittel. But the husband had 2 rolls for lunch. So that's it. Stuck. Throw all the challahs in the garbage. Can't be shoyal. Yeah, we're stuck. Everything's baked. There's no more. You can't be moisef anything. Everything's done. All the chals are ready, and the husband ate from it. In Eretz Yisrael, chals have to go in the garbage. What's that? Where's your saw gonna help you?
You'll be mad when you need the sheer challah.
No sheer challah, sheer bittel. You can't make a bittel in a saw. You're gonna know which one's which. It's not gonna go. So I'm just saying it's like this: that Shevet Alevi writes in the tshuva, the Chassam Sofer is chaylik on the shach, and he thinks that you can be samech on the Chassam Sofer. That it's not so terrible if you be samech on the Chassam Sofer and be shoyal. So this might be a case where we'd want to be samech on the Chassam Sofer because we're stuck. Even though she has plenty of time, she can go to the local Beis Din and get 3 people, no problem. But there's nothing to do because someone ate from the challah and you cannot be shoyal l'mafreya. So there's nothing to do. The challah has to go in the garbage. Spell. So because of this chashash, l'mafreya you're going to. So Aleph, I'm just pointing out that yesh ayin, the challah should go in the garbage. I'm not saying I'm not being chayil on the Ramah. But l'maisa, the eitzah theoretically would be that you have first of all the Chassam Sofer is chayil on this Ramah. And that Shevet Levi thinks that if copy this din, it's a reasonable thing to be samech on b'shas chag. This would certainly be shas chag. The whole challah is an hour before shki, have to go in the garbage. I changed it from 2 hours to an hour. So that's one. And B is what I'm saying is it's not klar if to check, I didn't have time to check all those achronim that he quoted, some of them I couldn't find, but in Lakanim he quotes some achronim that the fact that this whole idea applies to Eretz Yisrael, where you ate only a chelik of the challah, is not a davar butter. It's a chayra, lahalach, it's true, but it's not a davar butter. So if we can mitzvah the fact that it's an Eretz Yisrael, well, either way, Lamafrei did Nisr. Because there's no sheer bittul, so Mali Tebel, Mali Challah. They're both Isser Gomer to eat, so one is more tasty. We have a Mahalach, but it's not klar. It's here with the fact that we might be allowed to be Soymich, Shasat Chak, and Chasam Soymich. So that would be something to think about. I think Mahalach Lamaisa, if I was asked the question, I would probably think it's telling how hard exactly it is to get other challahs, what other challahs do you have.
What about the Shailos?
Yes, it's part of it.
Do you have done Do you have done with Baba in Eretz Yisrael?
Yeah, you would have done with Baba, I think, but it's just not practically because she has baked challahs already. You know exactly. Right.
What about Shailos? Part of it?
Ali Tebel.
We're gonna get
That's what I'm saying.
After that, yeah, we'll get to
Even if
that.
it's roll, it's shashas the reisa. That just makes us more machmer on things. It doesn't mean it's actually Tebel. So make her then speak
What's that? If you're Shail?
Yeah. No, we didn't form Shailos. The actual thing. It's all fake. No, it's all the Rabbanan, I mean.
If you're Shail, and then Mafrei, you eat them.
The husband ate.
It's not really Tebel.
I mean, it's not telling.
It's not really. The Rabbanan Tebel, just like it is. Just
What is the whole chumrah of the Darkei Moshe?
But the colors that we have.
You identify with the Chassam Sofer? Is that what you're saying?
I guess so.
Yeah, I hear. Still looking for Chassam Sofer?
See, they really.
Meaning, Shayla that was...
I didn't know a Maisa.
So it's a question of Lamafreya. Lamaisa, we're talking about a Pesach and Charata, which is Oiker the Zach Lamafreya. Means it's as if, you're right, as if is very important, as if nothing was so fresh. So that's Chassam Sofer, so we'll have to check out. Chubas Chassam Sofer. Reish Nagim. Fine, you're there, Reish Nagim. We have to check it out, but Al-Kapan Mitzrayah.
Where is your buzzers?
It's all here in the Bible in the Shir. Okay. Now, so that's one oif, and I'm just saying it's an interesting point that an Isha can call up and you can have Pasha no for. I'm sorry, if you had for lunch one little bilkla, you're done. So I'm saying that Shasat Chak, there would be some welcome to be reliant on these two things. Now, let's just go to the other case. In Eretz Yisrael, she chaps with a few hours before Shkia that yes, there's a tarevis over here, and Baruch Hashem, no one ate from the chalas. She didn't make any small chalas, only big chalas, no one touched the chalas. So now we have 6 or 7 or 8 big chalas of tarevis challah with chulin mixed up without a shear of chad b'meya. In Eretz Yisrael, again, that's the kul yam, there's no shear bittul b'roiv. So what are her aces? To make afrashas chal, to make a hataras nedarim, a hatara on her what's it called? On her hafrash. So like we mentioned, it could be al yidei her, it could be al yidei the baal, and either one could go find 3 people sitting in the Beis Medrash Friday afternoon. Might not be so easy. And the mikvah, very good. In the Beis Achitza.
I met that outside with this.
Yeah.
It's a look through right now.
No, it's great. So that's Kaylee mikvah he meant. Okay. So now, again, she cannot make a shliach. So if she calls up the Rav or she's trying to find an eitzah, and it's closer to Shkia, there's no time to get 3 people, the mikvah's closed, so it's difficult. So let's say theoretically, could she call up a Rav, call up someone and say, just be my shliach? Again, let's say her husband's not around, the husband went to shul already, whatever it is, and we have a problem. I'm talking about this problem, we have the lacha, it says karv l'shkia, and she can't find the hechetim, so again, in front of 3 men to be shol neder. So could she call up and say, okay, call the Rav, and the Rav will go to shul or whatever, and be matur neder in front of 3 people, b'shlichusa. So l'maisa, I brought here some of the marmakoimis, we're not going to go into all the details, but l'maisa is like, Shulchan Aruch and Reish Ches, in Hilchos Nedarim, Siftei Zayin Paskins, you're not allowed to make a shliach for Taras Nedarim. The shoyl has to be standing themselves in front of the gimel matir, except for a husband, wife, and husband. So she cannot call up and make a shliach, this Rav, to go that he should go find 3 people to be matir neder for her. That al pi halach and Shulchan Aruch l'chayr would not work. So we're stuck l'chayr now.
At the end of the day, making her then mumcha work. We're not going to right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly the pratim. Saying if it is a mumcha. Let's say it wouldn't be a mumcha. Oh, so we're going to get to the telephone, 1 second. So let's assume you don't have a mumcha, and you have 3 people, and she can't get 3 people, so shlichus is a problem. So that's what it says in Reish Ches Siftei Zayin. L'maisa, you look over there in the Pischei Tshuva, from the Chassam Sofer, the Pischei Tshuva quotes, and there's a Tshuva Zera Emes. I brought some of the Marmakomis here, but Emes, There's a sefer called Sha'arei Deya, not to be confused with Shirei Deya. Sha'arei Deya is a sefer on Hilchos Nadarim. It's on the Seder Shulchan Aruch. So they're tamei. A lot of achronim are tamei, and the Chassam Sofer brings these shitas. That be'emes is a very big machlokes Rishonim. If you learn Nidarim in Yeshiva and Daf Ches, so there's a lot of Rishonim in Nidarim, the Rashba, Pashas, Rashba, Ran, Tosfos, that hold you could make a shliach for a Taras Nidarim, and there's no chisaron. And a lot of achronim are tamei. The Shulchan Aruch doesn't even mention the shita, even as a yeshomrim. But the Ma'aseh, the Chassam Sofer, the Zer Emes, and many poskim are soimach either b'tzir for other shitas or b'shasat chak, even glad to be soimach on what's many gedolei Rishonim hold that you could make a shliach. So the Ma'aseh imkain l'chayra, that would be one thing that she could theoretically be soimach on to make a shliach. Now, in some achronim over there at Mavur, this is not a regular mean of shlichus, like shlichus gittin or kedushin, but rather because all really she has to do, it's really a ma'aseh koif betzim. That all she has to do, Bemis, is just be modia her charata to Beis Din, al yedei nacher. The question is, does it have to be her, or as long as the Beis Din knows about her charata bevira, that's enough. So Memela, she could certainly do that over the telephone. If you hold shlichus is good, she can man a shlich over the telephone, and he, as long as he knows about her charata, he could then go bring her charata to Beis Din, to 3 people, and make a hatar. Now, some achronim, you look over there, Reshav Ches, are soimach on this to make a shliach, even b'shas attack, that alone. And the Chassam Sofer there, it's before it's one place are only b'tziruf. So what tziruf do we have here? So the emes is, like we saw in the Piskei Teshuvah by us, there is a tziruf, and that is like this. What's the issue here? Her challah got mixed up into her chulin, into her isa, and now she's stuck. So she wants to be shoyal in order to make it chayzer l'tevel, and then she mafish again. But we're saying, common issue, she's stuck. Where's she going to find 3 men to make a Torah? It's schwer to make a shlichus. So what could she do? So Maisa, we all saw the Yavitz, it's very mechushtik Yavitz, but it's a Yavitz, and brought in Piskei Teshuvah over here. The sheet of the Yavitz is that when the Challah falls back into Isa Sa, to the same Isa where it came from, that is not a Taroivis of Challah and Chulin, it's Chazer L'Tivlei. Everything goes back to the Kadusa. It's Chazer L'Toyu Vavoyu. Everything goes back to regular Tevel, even without any Hatara, anything. That's just the Halacha. Ayin Shom, what is Makar is, the Cholkim on the Yavitz, but that's the Yavitz. Now, so even without being soimach mamish on the Yavitz, you can see if that you have the Yavitz. So if the Yavitz, she could be mafresh again right now. There's no problem. She doesn't need any Atara shoyal no.
As long as no one ate.
What's that? As long as no one ate. I'm talking now that no one ate. Right. I'm talking that no one ate. So if no one ate, she Betzim could be. So I'm just saying, but see if that the Yavitz holds, she could be mafresh right away. Certainly we could be soimach that she can make a shliach to make the hatara. So maybe if she can't find 3 people, if someone she can get in touch with, the Rav can get in touch with, and make him a shliach, so then he can go get 3 people and be her shliach. And that's again,
it's even if it's someone ate, because it's batal or meh.
Anyway, it was batal, right? It just makes it right. It doesn't make it any worse. It's not. Lefila Yavitz, they eat tevel in malasot. Again, it makes it better. Lefila Yavitz, the rega the challah goes back in tevel. So whoever ate from it after it was baked,
It had more
it was tevel anyway.
We only
He's machalik between Isa and Isa Acheres. Right, Chuck? It's about a different Isa, going into a different Isa. A different Isa schut. Okay. Now, so Lefizeh, I searched around a little bit in some of the Svarim. Lefizeh, that's exactly what I'm saying. Anyway, you're stuck. We're not choishish for that Yavitz that you're stuck. I'm just saying it's moisif etzad kula that you can be mafresh right now. That works with the Yavit. So now, let's say, what about her being mater neder, not making him a shliach to go find 3 people? Let's say she can get on the phone with 3 people. I don't know exactly how that would work. If he could grab 2 people. It's mamish karav l'shkia. Could he go get 2 neighbors, and she can on the phone, on the speakerphone, make a shayla derech the telephone. So someplace. What's that? Conference call. Oh, no, the three of them still have to be in the same place. But let's assume that he can get 3 people there, 10 minutes for shkia, grab 2 neighbors, and make the shayla. Could she do it over the telephone? So Lamaisa, I saw some of the Svarim, in Hilchos Nadarim, some of the Heintige Svarim handle the Shailos, and they assume like this, that it's loy garam b'shlichus. So if we're being saimach on shlichus, and you can be saimach on the telephone being makayim b'shlichus. So again, it's not an emish shlichus, it just has to be modia charata to Beis Din. And yitachin that it's better than shlichus, because the din that an isha has to be oimed l'fnei Beis Din, it's a shayla achronim what the pshat is. Is it so that they can ask her questions? So then here they could ask her the questions. Is it so that she should be misbayish? I'm not sure if that applies. B'chal t'chala, is it a loy plug? So there's a little bit of a handle. The Maisa, there's a sefer in Hilchos Nadarim. Someone wrote a Heintiger sefer called Nidre, and he brings there some psakim from some Gedolei Hazman, and he tainas there b'shem Chaim Kanievsky and b'shem Rav Yashiv that they were all open at least to the idea of being mater neder through the telephone, and either that's loigar from shlichus and you rely on shlichus, or maybe it's even other from shlichus. And we're saying in Benida Din Dan, we have another tzir to rely on shlichus. Maybe it's even better than shlichus if she actually speaks to 3 people over the phone. And l'chara, that would be something to rely on to be mater neder. When it's again karav l'shkia, she has no other eitzah. Lefi the yavitz anyway, she can be mafresh right now. So she'll go on the phone and she'll be mater neder and be mafresh again right before shkia. And Shalom Yisrael, then her Isa will be Metukenis and her Chal will be Mutter. And again, that's all only assuming that no one ate from the Isa. If someone ate from the Isa, we're back to the old problem, where that Pshuta, according to the Ramah, and according to the Shach, that's Aser. We were Malat Tzad, that would maybe require, that would require even a bigger Shasat Chak to rely on the Chassam Sofer negative the Ramah, that even if someone ate to be Shoyal, with Mafreya Kana.
But now, according to this guy, you have an extra Tzad to be Shailos, because anyways it's stuff. You're not losing anything. He ate Teva, according to the evidence.
What do you mean to be sure what? If someone ate?
Yeah,
For sure, 100%.
They have an extra Tzad.
Basket. That's another
What
tzir.
about the Ben Ish Chai that says that it works for Limit of Mukaf? Did you see that quote? It says, to the Yevid it'll work even in Eretz Yisrael because it's like a Rosh Limit of Mukaf.
What, even if they ate, you mean?
Yeah.
Right, again, it's negative pashas that are above. There's a chazanish in the Maya that also, very stark, that once it was eaten, it can't work. Okay, Lamaisa, that's what the Rav Osner writes in the Trudy. Oh, very good. So let's go to the next shlav now. So we're already talking, we have a tzadi, we have a shir bittel, we moisef in the tarivas, we have now hechatimsa where there's no more bittel, but she can make a shayla. Karav tishkia, we have some eitzes how to make some shtick, how to make a shayla for her hatara, either by making a shliach, making a rav shliach, getting on the phone, getting 3 people over the phone to make the hatara. Now, she says more, let's say that's not shayach. It's mamish karav tishkia, and no one's going to get, so we'll see the emphasis karav tishkia might not be such a ma'akev, it's probably in the din of bein shmashos. In Reish Samachalif, the halach is bein shmashos, you're not allowed to be mafresh from tevel vada. But the Mishnah Berurah says there that it still has the regular din of a shus bein shmashos. So if it's tzarchei mitzvah, tzarchei Shabbos, you're allowed to be matir bein shmashos. So if a person doesn't have any food, it's before you're allowed to be matir shus maisos. So the Shulchan says that even if you have a lot of food, if you have no challah, you need lechem mishnah, that is a reason to yes be matir hafrasha bein shmashos of challah. And the Kshes Shulchan goes so far as to say that even if you have a box of matzahs, but they're all like broken and smashed, you don't have lechem mishnah, that's also tzarchei mitzvah. It's a mitzvah bein shmashos, shus bein shmashos, legas zrin v'aka mitzvah. So it would be mutter if a person doesn't have challah. So now that's totally because if your neighbor has 10 extra challahs, you can get. So, but it depends on the situation. A kollah for your Indian. But the point is that bein shmashos, there might be other eitzes to be mafresh. But let's say there's no eitzes, and you're karav to shkia, and there's no time not to go on the phone, not to make shluchim. You have to have an eitzah right away. So Ma'or is correct. If we'd be samich on the Yavitz, so fine. Just be mafresh. You don't need any shayla because Berega that the Challah went back in, it was Ois Challah Chazal or Tivloi. They can be mafresh. I don't think we can be samich on the Yavitz alain. A lot of the Achrenim you see were doicha the Yavitz shtei adayin. But is there another eitzah? So that would be like this. And that's an eitzah also brought up by a number of Achrenim in the last 50 years. That the first hafrasha is where somewhere.
Yeah, if
you don't have challah, and presumably you don't have any posh way to access challahs. My point is, very often your neighbor will gladly give you a box of matzahs of shleimus, and you can eat the bread. So you have Oinik Shabbos, you have lechem mishnah. So like, what's the problem? So that's why I wouldn't be so quick to rely on afresh bein shmashos. In our mitzias, usually someone in your building would happy to give you some rolls, lachmaniot, and then you have the fresh challah to eat. It's not like just need like a mishnah. Oh no, it would be also tevel. I'm sorry. Yeah, nechanam. Depends what they have to offer. Meaning your aspect is the Kshes Shulchan is mekel. If you have food, you just don't have lechem mishnah. So let's say someone give you lechem mishnah, but the whole Shabbos is going to be eating matzahs as opposed to challahs. That's the question.
Yeah, you can even shoot that for lechem mishnah. Could be. Because
no, but if that's tevel, I'm saying. Hold it with the matzah as well.
That's
No,
not what
that's
lechem
what
mishnah is. Yeah.
yeah, but
Okay, that's a good point. So is that a tzarech mitzvah? So tzarech Einik Shabbos, you have Einik Shabbos, you have Cholent and Mina food. Tzarech lechem mishnah, you have lechem mishnah. The question is, just to have more geshmak chalas, tzarech. It sounds like it would be a problem. It sounds like to me. So is there another Eitzah? So we're close to Shkia, and we're moving past the Eitzah of Shlichus and Hatara, right now at least. So is there another Eitzah? So Chayna Ramala, it's sad like this. Could she be mafresh again, right now? We're not sending on the Ivets, so he's Dvarim B'Telem. So the place can say, could she be mafresh, having in mind that first hafrasha is a problematic hafrasha, because it's lost somewhere in the mix. So I'm going to be mafresh again, and this second hafrasha should be chal, after I'm matter the first one. How should you be matter the first one? It's a minital shkina. So that's Baruch Hashem, we have Siman Shin Mem Aleph and Shulchan Aruch. You're allowed to be matter Nedarim on Shabbos. You're not allowed to make Nedarim, you're not allowed to be mafresh Chumas Maisus, but to be matter Nedel Tzorech Shabbos is mutter. So she has the second hafrasha she did a minute before Shkia. The first one is what shtering her chal. The second wasn't even chal yet. It was Dvarim B'Telem Kaviyachol in the meantime. But after, then on Shabbos she'll go and L'tzorech Shabbos be matir the first hafrasha. L'mafreya, the second hafrasha that she did before Shabbos will be chal now. And her chal is her mutter.
Let her just do it in the proper order. Once you don't have food, you can also be mafresh trumas, right?
Not on Shabbos.
No?
On Shabbos, I know, Bein HaShmashos.
Only Bein HaShmashos?
Yeah, I'm assuming the Bein HaShmashos you don't have a heter because your neighbor will give you matzahs.
And there's no way she can do it in the normal order.
Right. That's why we're playing this eitzah. So there's a whole masamatan in the Torah Sa'aretz, the new one that I have. It's all the Hilchos Challah. He has in the back over there a big arichos masamatan about this eitzah. It's a question if you can compare it to the din by the Darm. By the Darm, the halacha is that if you're making nidrei ishtay and then you're made for nidrei ishtay, the hafara is meaningless because you already make him nidrei ishtay. So what if you're making nidrei ishtay, made for nidrei ishtay, and then you're shoyal on the hakama? So the Rashba Paskins, that's the halacha, that the hafara is challah mafreya. After you get rid of the hakama, we're stuck in the team. So the question is it the same idea or is it not the same idea? There's a big arichs about this in the Achronim. The Maisa of the Achronim seem to be samich on this. I brought some of the Marim Kamis here in Derech Hamuna and Shumas Perak Dalet, Shlomo Zalman and Menchashloim Chelak Aleph Samach Beis. So they bring this eitzah, and it seems to be by them a valid eitzah. Shlomo Zalman points out that she has to chap what she's doing. If she thinks she's just being machmir to take a second challah, or she just if she doesn't understand what's happening, so then it's a problem. Or Shlomo Zalman points out if she thinks that the first one was just bottle, let's say she thinks like the Yiddish, right? So she thinks the first one's gone, and she thinks that she's being mafresh challah, and she just doesn't understand the technicality. It's not going to be chal until the first she'elah. So Shlomo Zalman thinks that that's okay. What I'm saying is lafuki, if she thinks the first one's fine, I'm going to do another one anyway. Just for, since I can't find the first one, I'll do that. So that is not a proper das of hafresh shuvas mais, just because she thinks that it's al gabe the first one. But as long as she thinks that the first one is over a bottle, and she's doing the second one to be chal, so then you can go make a shayla on Shabbos, and that would be another 8.
You were saying before that you take up the second one you can't take off on Shabbos and you matter that they're on Shabbos.
You can't be mafresh shuvas mais on Shabbos.
Is that so pashut because the Shas said she's mafresh and there's no hafresh happening?
Yeah. You can't be mafresh on Shabbos at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to be chal at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Sure not. Anyway, I don't think you can mafresh shuvas mais on Shabbos to be chal after Shabbos. Certainly not to be chal on Shabbos. So for my hafresh, it's michzik metakin, it's michzik makdish. So that's a problem. You can't have a reading.
Some mixing
You can't even take them on Shabbos. You cannot take them on Shabbos.
So that's one eitzah. To take the second one, especially, okay, so you have to, if it's a minute before Shkia, usually it's a matzah where she doesn't exactly chap what's going on. No one chaps what's going on, it's Challah. So, but that would theoretically be an eitzah. If somehow they manage to make that afrasha, someone asks a Shailos a minute before Shkia, so you tell them you should take a second hafrasha and have in mind that you're going to be Shailos on the first one, and after the first one you Shailos, the second one is going to be Chal, and that is the Chayr Eitzah, Ein Sham Derech Hamuna. Okay, there is another potential Eitzah. There's a big arichas about this.
The hafrasha itself didn't do anything.
It doesn't matter. It did do something. It's just not Chal. It's a Mais hafrasha. The Mais hafrasha is what Chazal Asi, not the Chalois hafrasha. Chalois hafrasha is okay. Mais hafrasha is problem. All right. We're going to see that. That's awesome. That's a Mais hafrasha also. Maisa Hafrasha doesn't mean a physical act. It means doing the Maisa of being Yachid, a Cheluk of your Tevel to be Chal.
It's going to cause the Challah.
Yes. Right. So that's just not Tarsh L'Dar. That's going to be Chal M'Mela. Now, like this. So is there an oifen that's wanted to be Mafresh on Shabbos? So there's a very big arichas about this. It all comes from a Rambam in Hilchos of Demai, and from Mishnayos in the 7th and 8th parak of Hilchos of Demai. And that's the question of making a Tanai to be Mafresh on Shabbos. So I'll just be Mara, Mokim Lochem, in Shmir Shabbos, in Perak Yud Aleph, Halacha Yud Ches. So in the Ha'ara there is big, huge arichos from Shlomo Zalman being mitfakech with the Chazon Ish how exactly this Tanai works. But there is a halacha that we find by Tmai that the Poskim Chazon Ish and Shlomo Zalman do apply to Challah, that a person is not allowed to be mafresh melechat chila on Shabbos Trumas Ma'aser's Challah. But if you're masna from Erev Shabbos, that the Challah that I'm going to take off on Shabbos will be the Challah that I'm going to be mafresh will be Challah. So then that Tanai itself matters as long as it was in your Rishus. That Tanai matters that you could make the Ma'aseh Hafrasha on Shabbos. It's a question Chazon Ish from Shlomo Zalman are fighting about or arguing about. Where's the Iker Ma'aseh Hafrasha and where's the Chalais Hafrasha? And Shlomo Zalman seems to understand the Ma'aseh Hafrasha is Erev Shabbos, just Chalais on Shabbos, and the Chazon Ish learned the whole thing is just a hecker. As long as you make some kind of Tanai, then really you can make a Ma'aseh Hafrasha on Shabbos, and not Kamina when you should make the bracha. According to the Chazon Ish, if you make this Tanai Erev Shabbos, you're allowed to be mafresh on Shabbos, make a bracha on Shabbos. So and then Shlomo Zalman Taka argue. It's a question how it works. So theoretically,
Isn't that the Iker Mechzi? Like, isn't that the problem of the Mataka?
so since it's only a mechzi, Zok the Chazon Ish, he tira yedei a hecker. He made a hecker. He made a Tanai. So what's not clear is if you could do in this case, where she already was mafresh, and it was mitzarev. So then it might be telling this lumdas. It's not clear if this Tanai works, but kitzur b'chi agavne, because the Tanai is since it was biyadai to be mafresh right now, but here's not biyadai to be mafresh right now because you need the hatar. So tzarchim. I saw some of the svarim being oyer this nekuda. It's not clear if this Tanai will work. B'chi agavna that you're in front of you is chulin. It was hufresh already. So you're not making a Tanai to be mafresh. You're making a Tanai that when I'm going to be shayl on the first one, which you didn't do yet. So maybe it's telling the lumdas how this Tanai works. I'm not sure.
That Tanai works by Demai, not by Demai.
By Tavel Gomer it works also. By Tamai it works even if it's not Rishuscha. But if it's Rishuscha, then even Tavel Gomer. That's how we at least not allowed. So it's an eitzah.
I thought the only reason maybe it doesn't work by Tavel Gomer is because in Brera with the Deraisa.
It's a question if this is working based on Brera. It's part of the Hilchos and it's
Do we say
not
on this on Challah Chotzar nowadays there is Brera because is the Rabbanon in my son?
Could you be Samech on Brera? Could be, but Neretz Yisrael not because we have
It is the Rabbanon now.
Yeah, Iker Deraisa. So that's the question to treat it like Deraisa and Derabanan. I'll call upon him even by Tavel Vada. It is an eitzah, but Tzarachin if it's an eitzah here. So the better eitzah would be the first eitzah we mentioned, which is to be mafresh a second time. Because if you're mafresh before Shabbos, then anyway you have the Yavitz, right? Because the Yavitz you're allowed to be mafresh right away because it's Chazar Lativla. And even if we're not being samach on the Yavitz, the L'maisi you have this other eitzah that L'maisi made the Ma'aseh Hafrasha. It's Ka'im the Tanai, just a little bit better than the Tanai because you're mafresh right now, and when you're shayl on the first one, it will be Chayzer V'chal. Now, there is a needed about that eitzah also. It's not, these are not galata eitzahs, but we're talking about a minute before Shkia and all your chalvas for Shabbos. So l'chayr, there's makam to be samech on that eitzah, to be mafresh and then to be shayel. And Mashenke making more. Okay. Next shot. So ad kan dibarnu that we're getting closer and closer to Shkia. You either remember with enough time to go to the Beis Din to get 3 people, enough time to call the Shlichos. 1 minute before Shkia, bein hashmashos. So what happens if you remember about the Tarevis? Only Friday night after Zman Rabbeinu Tam, that's it. No more Tanaim, no more Afrashas al Tanai, no more nothing. So is there any Eitzim?
If she thought it was mafresh a minute before Shkia, thinking
Which case, the Tarevis?
Yeah, but she didn't know about the Tanai, so it doesn't help you to be mafresh after. It won't work.
It depends. Shlomo Zalman says if in her understanding what she was doing now was not second Havrasha, for whatever reason, even mistakenly, she thinks the first Havrasha is gone, which usually that's what she thinks. She thinks, okay, my first Chal is gone, so there's no more. And in her das, the Hafrasha, even though she thought it should be Chal now, and it couldn't be Chal now, so Ayin Sham, this is an interesting nidan in Aleph Samach Beis Yud Gimel in the Mincha Shlomo. So he thinks it works. That's what it's mentioned. And it's also in Madani Shlomo, in Perak Dalet,
So what's the case that it doesn't?
when she thought that the first one is good, but since she lost the Challah, she's going to do a second one. Then in her dash, she thought the first one was Chal, but I want to be mafresh l'chumra a second one. That's what he says over there, Shlomo Zalman. That only if she thinks she's doing a second Chal, which is mamash dvarim b'teilim.
Even though she's right, that until Ma'atara, the first one is not
Chanami. Yeah, but if she thinks she's being mechal a second one right now, that's just dvarim b'teilim. Can't. That's just the machshavas psul. That's not fine. Now you remember on Shabbos, and now we're chayr ma'amishtag, chayr all your Chalas are tevel and muktzah, your tables are bosses, ma'amishtag. So Tarevis. What's Tarevis?
Could be a Tarevis doesn't make it.
Right, we did speak about one of the previous shows. It happens to be that Yeshayim doesn't make a bosses b'choloif, and that Shlomo Zalman was mechadish that tevel doesn't make a bosses. It's a different chiddush. Al Kapanim is there in Eitzah. So in Malay HaOmer, that's from a boy's uncle or something like that. So he brings in Tivin Shin Chav Gimel, the first half of the Bloy Sefer is Bloy Omer, from his uncle. So he brings from Sefer Nefesh Chaya. And they're not emes talking about, I don't think, Shabbos per se, but L'chayr would be an Eitzah for Shabbos. And since we know that you're allowed to be Matan Eter on Shabbos, for Tzarchi Shabbos, so she took off, let's say, a sheer Kezayis that was not bottled, an Or Chachalas or Terevis. Could she be shoyal, Matir Neder on the Hafrasha, on half of her Hafrasha? Once she's shoyal on half of the Hafrasha, then I still have my Hafrasha's Challah, and now the Challah has a sheer bittul. So let's say it was just under the sheer bittul. Let's say we're going to be Musabak, if it was Chad there, and then it's going to be a Kol Shu, and the Kol Shu will be bottled. So that's what the Mlaya Omer brings from the Sefer Nefesh Chaya. Also, Nefesh Chaya writes that Shus Malkoi was masking to him, and Avram Shechanov was masking. Now, in the Sefer Mlaya Omer, he's Marble Tzatet from Harav Mi Brisk. It's not the Brisker of, it was Mavir, but rather, like 50, 100 years before that, is Mariel Diskin was the first Brisker of. And he was a Mashamish, and he was a Talmud Muvak from the Mariel Diskin. He says he spoke to the Rav Mi Brisk. And he was also, he himself, the Mlaya Omer, has a whole Hilchos why this Eitz is very problematic. And he says that Mariel Diskin was also masking that Shver Eitz shouldn't be Samech on it. And the Iker, many times, Ayin Shom, but one of the main times was, let's say you're shoyal. So what's going to happen? So a little bit is going to be Challah, be Batal Chad B'nei. What's with the other little bit that you were shoyal on? Meaning you were shoyal. So part of it remains Challah, but the part you were shoyal on is now Tevel. So now you have Tevel mixed into your Challah. The sheer bittul by Tevel is never. Tevel's not Batal, it's Dav Sheish Matir. So anyway, Challah is going to be Asr. Again, more. You have a Kazayas. The Kazayas is there in 1 in 90, so it's not Batal. So I'll chop it in half. Half remains Challah, now it's Batal, because now it's 1 in 180. The other half of Kazayas becomes Tevel. Because I was shoyal on the Hafrasha. When I'm shoyal that this Challah, half of it should not be Challah, what does it blibe? It blibes Tevel, L'chayr. You're already thinking of the answer. So that becomes Tevel. Tevel's mixed in. Tevel's not Batal. Dav Sheish Matir. There's some pilpulim why maybe it would be Batal, because another with Harevis. Ayin Sham Barichos. So Bez Hashem, Rav Asher, the Rav will probably speak about this. One of the Inyanim will speak about next week. He wrote a whole mimer about this, gave a shir about this many years ago. It's printed in Hilchos Sada. It's found on the Eitzach Chachma. So he's Miyashev Daitam Shal Gedolim Elu. That Be'emes L'Shitasam, what they meant to say is that Be'emes L'Mafreya doesn't become Tevel. L'Mafreya, what happens is the Hafrasha of that the Chetzi Hafrasha of Challah, blibes Hafrasha also on the Chetzi that you're being shoyal on. That's basically his Yisoy, Einsham Big Arichus. But I think even L'Daitoi, I'm not sure about this, we'll see, that's the Shem, B'Karv, but it's mashmit to me was just a limud tzchus, and he's been Miyashev Daitam Shal Gedolim Elu, because the way the Mlaya Omer asks this question is like it's Mam Shatos. It's like a Pasha thing. Like he forgot that. And there's a raya from Abba Meisers, Ayin Shom. There's a Pasha raya that's Pasha Tevel, and Tevel we know is not bottle, so it's a very problematic thing. So Liyashiv Daitum, the Rav wrote a whole marach over there. But it sounds like it's not an Eitz L'Chatchila, and it would sound like B'chi Hagavna, and the Mariel Diskin was Deicha the Eitza. So it would sound like B'chi Hagavna, you can't stand, okay, Glat Eitza, go. On Shabbos, you have Chula mixed in, you have Challah mixed in, go be Shayal on half, and Shalom Yisrael. But it seems B'chi Agav, you have to get matzahs from your neighbor, knock the Challahs off with the Toltam and Atzad, and leave it.
If I take piece of my phone, not the Shem Cham, just because I play with my dough.
Piece of your Tevel?
Piece of my dough.
Tevel.
I throw it back in. It's still Isa. It doesn't. Why are we saying that the Challah that I took? Now, this is Isa, and now I have two more things.
Because you had Das, that what's in your hand, this should be matter that. You didn't have Das that it should be matter minay.
Now I'm showing. And I'm saying that really the whole time, only this was Challah.
And you had Das for that Challah to be matter
No,
what?
and this is no different than this Isa.
It is different. Why? Because your Das was that only your Challah, whatever, even if only half of this was Challah, it should only be matter that, not here. Okay, Ayin Shom. Yeah, it's a problem with his Das. Ayin Shom, you're making a point. Al derech zu, Rav Asher Nishtekel is Miyashiv Daitum, that Yesh L'Challah between this and Marba Meisers. There's a raya from Marba Meisers. I don't want to be marked about it now. Ayin Shom. There's a Pasha raya and there's a Chiluk. Ayin Shom. Okay. So again, so this is a case where we're talking getting stuck. If on Shabbos itself, I'm not saying it's impossible Eitzah, and L'Maisa, the Gedolei Olam, that's what the Rav was writing, that you have this mitzvah Yashiv Daitum. So if someone's mamish stuck and it's a huge matziv, sheva brachas, and there's no way to get more challahs, and it's a huge matziv, well, chayr, there is, just leaving it open, there is an eitzah to be shayal on half of the challah, that it should be bottled, and to assume that half that you're shoyal on that becomes tevel is actually hutar l'mafrei al yedei the other afra. But it's not a pasha l'zak and l'choyer b'chiyah gavnu. What? That's another one of the Malay Omer's tainis. That this whole thing this whole eitzah might violate bittul chatchila. But speak to Shimi about that. He thinks it's not bittul chatchila because you're just being memayit the shir, memayit it's spatel.
I'm not following 100%, but would this eitzah help for it to eat part of it also?
Yeah.
That is actually what they were saying this for. And that's one of the Malay Omer's tainis. You have an eitzah, why did Ramah have that eitzah? So that's the right that it's wrong. And if I care, Malay Omer holds that he's defending the Ramah. So the Rav in Ishtokel is defending the Shuas Malkai and Rav Shekinov, but Malay Omer tainis, I'm defending the Ramah because you see they didn't have an eitzah if you ate. This is the eitzah if you ate, right?
According to them, this is the most lechatchila eitzah. Don't be mafresh. Even on
And a Chanami, if I care, that's another eitzah. They say, you can have all kinds of shas brachal batal. In a Chanami, if it's an eitzah, it's going to eitzah. We take care of all the problems. So, in a Chanami. So l'char it's not a pasha eitzah. L'char you can't be samach eitzah l'chatchila even b'diavad unless it's mamish shas tzchak. That's kach hayanira, and even the mimer of the Rav, Ein Sham, it's kovetz halichos hada. The mimer of says kovetz 114. We find out Eitzah Chacham. It was a yishuv, but l'char it's not l'chatchila. Okay, akopanim. That's one case we're stuck. Now let's talk about the other whole chevel. Of Shailos, and that is no taroivis, not remembering Erev Shabbos, not remembering Yishmash, not remembering on Shabbos, no hafrasha. Got to be mafresh challah, it's tevel, gomer. Any way you cut it, hataras and darim, all the tricks. We're out of all the tricks, yeah. So if you're in shul and it's before shkiyas, we saw the chacham sadam, so you can be mafresh from shul. If it's bein hashmashas and you have no challah, you're not going to have lechem mishnah, and your neighbor's not going to give you matzah, or you don't have a good neighbor to give you matzah, so then bein hashmashas you can even be mafresh. But if you are not mafresh challah, I'm getting to the worst case now. If you're not mafresh challah and it's after Rabbeinu Tam and there's no eitzes and you have tevel gomer, so now what? So what was this ma'ir the gedolim to be machapes eitzes even b'chiyah gachma? That it's on Shabbos mamish and tevel gomer mamish is la hased. That the chaburas don't always mafresh challah, and if you're not mafresh challah and you're stuck with tevel and you don't have matzah and you don't miss, you never touch your neighbor's matzah chalil. So then you're mamish stuck. So now you have mitzvahs. The Prima Gadol just says, okay, just be mafresh challah. Doiche the iser of hafresh challah because you have to eat kind of mitzvah. A lot of kashas on that. You don't bring a shofar derech karmelis, so why would you be mafresh? Something like that. Not exactly, but something like that. Okay, so the eitzah, and this eitzah the Malay Omer also brings, but this eitzah was actually supported and kind of invented by the Mariel Diskin. And that was an eitzah to mafresh trums meises on Shabbos without making a tanai before Shabbos, without a taras and shtikl chtar before Shabbos on Shabbos alone. How could you do it? Mufla samach leish. Halacha in Shin Chaf Ches is that a katan who's a mufla samach leish a year before they become a gadol, a gedola, a girl, or a boy. So nidarav neder. That's what the Shulchan Aruch passes. The guy is bemis chayil holds halacha. It's not truth. It's tanoim. But the halacha in Shulchan Aruch says that they're neders and neders. So Mariel Diskin said like this. He's talking about law saying, give him, you have matzahs from the whole chabur or whatever it is. Give a kid who's between 12 and 13, a boy who's 12 and 13, be making to him some matzah. And then Taisim Sachem says that you're allowed to be suffered be a dayim to a katan for chinuch, lagabe not being from the monoi on the carbon pesach. So what I did, Hacha, be making to him the matzah. He has to tell now and say, okay, Yingala, we're being mechanechim now how to be mafresh trumas and meisus, and agav while you mafresh trumas and meisus, the chinuch mitzvah on these matzahs for you to eat. Last later, take care of the whole bote ungarin or wherever it was, and to be mafresh for everyone. So that was his eitzah. Now, there's a nidin. Where is it? Yeah, in Moedim Uzmanim. So Sternbach and others from they point out this was Law Seder. This was from Mitzvahs Matzah. They tied it a year later. Again, this Tevel Gomer, they're stuck. They have no matzahs. All the matzahs are Tevel. So give it to a mufla samach ish that the halach is could make it a neder, and he can be mafresh challah. Once he's mafresh challah for himself, you're being suffered in iser be a dime to a katan. So he brings a right from Taisim. Real discontented. Taisim before you're allowed to be suffered. There's some we found we're allowed to let a katan do an iser darbanan. One of the found in places says is to mechanechim for a mitzvah. So you mechanechim a mitzvahs hafrashas challah. You give him some matzah, you're making it to him, give you kind. That's cheres making it, and he's mafresh. And when he's mafresh, you tell him, by the way, you're mafresh. Take care of all the matzahs. Have in mind that you'll be mafresh challah on all, and then it's zechiyah. You can mafresh shlo and shalachirim. Okay. So this is the eitzah real diskin, and not a pasha eitzah, but it's an eitzah. Now in Moedim Uzmanim, I was mitzayin Marbakam here, so he's Marba Tmaya on this Eitzah. So he thinks that there's no Chiyav Chinuch, B'chiyah Gavna. You can be Mechanechim in many other ways, you don't have to be Maknim, so it wouldn't be a heter to be Mechanechim, B'chiyah Gavna, Icham. Other different Pikpukim, and obviously he's bothered the fact the Goyin holds the whole thing doesn't work. But okay, we're talking about Shas Adchak, and in a Chanabi, maybe this is with something the Psak will discipline that even if we'll have teretz to all his kashas, there are two to all his kashas, but it is with Kame Kuli Pshuri. It's not like such a pasha to Eitzah, and it was for Laha Seder here. It's for your Challah on Shabbos. If it's just a question of your Challah on Shabbos, I wouldn't say to go running to have a cut and mufal samach leish. Definitely are Shailos along the way. One of the issues, very interesting things that that Moedim Zman's Meir is the question of shlichus. That if Hafrasha Mishaloi al Shalachirim is mitam zechiyah, skim tam shlichus, a katan, you can't make a shliach. So he's very bothered by that, and he thinks that even though it's derabanon, and the Gemara in Gittin before that by derabanon work, it's only something ikr derabanon, it's ikr deraisa. I brought here on the bottom, in the footnote, some very interesting Ma'amakomis, and Derech Hamuna in Chumas actually is nokat lahakol, and it starts with the Marsha that shiny hachav, since a katan who's mufal samach ish, he's in the parsha of Nedarim, so that he can also become a shliach for Nedarim. That's what the Marsha many Achreidim say, and I don't know why Moed V'Zam just doesn't quote it
All your
here.
matzahs.
What?
Forget Shalom. You don't need to be making back, and then he's not needing shlichus. Give him all your challahs.
Right. Then you're not going to have lachem on the matzah.
Say it.
Okay, so that Derech Hamuna anyway passing the shliach. So, but l'maisa again, there are some pikpukim operation. The fact that the Goyin holds holding doesn't work. So l'chayra again, that's for Laha Seder good Eitzah. Again, a very big shas adchak mamish shava brachas of chulei where you're mamish stuck. You're not going to have. It's going to be big suffering like mission shas. But in a regular, normal, average case, this is l'chayra not a glat Eitzah. So all the Eitzahs that we're bringing up, each one yesh ladan legufay. Whether we're talking about Eitzah l'chatchila, Eitzah b'diavad, and how bad of a b'diavad matzah you find yourself in. Okay. The other Eitzah that the Svarim mentioned with regards to Tevel Gomer that you found out about on Shabbos is the following. The halacha is, like we just mentioned, saw last week, mitam zechiyah, if you want to be mafresh your friend's trumas and maisus, it's not pasha, zechiyah, trum sadeshin, but if you want to be mafresh al shaloi, al shalachirim, that works, that's zechiyah. So some Svarim point out that it starts with the Chuvas Eretz Tzvis and Memzayin, that a person Erev Shabbos could be mafresh and have in mind that for all the people that are going to forget this Shabbos, I'm being mafresh for all of them. You have some Temple Gomer a few minutes before Shkia, you're mafresh and take care of everything. And in some places it says, in some Svarim says, in the Shmir Shabbos Kolchasa it says that Shlomo Zalman told Rav Leiver that halavai, that the Murad Asra of every shtat should do this thing Erev. I think he was talking about Erev Pesach for the matzahs. So L'maisa, in some mimer that Reuben wrote, he writes that that's what Shlomo Zalman himself Taka did. He told him that's what he did. Every Erev Pesach, he waited till a few minutes before Shkia. It's a question why he did it like that. Why didn't he just do it earlier? Al Das for whoever forgets. But Al Kapanim, he did it. He was mafresh. And the Shmua is, I don't know, I didn't check it out. I don't do it yet. But presumably in Yerushalayim, from what I understand, from Neve Yaakov until Chveis, Beitar, there's probably like a whole bunch of people, big tzaddikim, who every Erev Shabbos are being mafresh challah at some point, with having in mind that whoever, what? Does the Eidah do it? I don't know. It's made for the bakeries. What about for me and my wife who forgets mafresh challah? I don't know. I don't know when they do it, how they do it. Maybe the Eidah does it every Erev Shabbos. Minchas Yitzchak is also one of the ones who's ma'ir on this Eitzah, that if someone would do it for everyone, it'll work.
How far does it work?
So l'maisa by Erev Tavshilin we saw Tchum Shabbos, but l'maisa it was Mashman Rishon. That's just because Stam Das. But okay, let's say it won't work outside the Tchum. I don't know why not. L'chayra it should. But l'chayra it can't. I don't think we could be in a matzav where someone can be mafresh and mashum tevel for the whole world. I don't know.
And also, it only works if you were in mafresh. Because if you were mafresh with toes, and then you mix
Who is
back
mafresh?
in,
Yeah.
then we're back to the problem of you were mafresh.
So that we have other eitzes. Let's assume that you're right. That would not work. We're talking about someone who forgot totally tevel.
The one in the Mukhav is okay?
For the Rav to mafresh in the Mukhav, yes. So that's the Chacham Sadim that Chacham Sadim says that tzarich mitzvah you're allowed to be mafresh in the Mukhav. It is violating. So certainly, if it's tzarich mitzvah it's mutter, so then to matzel someone from Isur Tevel is also, that's the Shari Tzedek. In some of the Maduras it goes according to Siman that Siman Yud. They say he says you could be mafresh in the Mukhav even tzarich Suda Shabbos. So Kol Shkein to matzel someone from Isur Tevel, so that would be mutter. So So I was like, if someone forgot and they go to the Rav and they say what to do, and the Rav says, don't worry, I took care of you. Erev Shabbos is Erev Shabbos. You live in my neighborhood and in my street. You're asking me, I took care of you. I had you in mind, not you specifically, but anyone who forgets, including you. So then l'chayra, I don't know really why it shouldn't work. They bring different, to be samech, not to be samech, l'chayra, it should work, especially if it's in the same shchuna, the same area. If you're speaking to the Rav and the Rav tells you, yeah, I did it, I took off for you. Again, I don't know if in every little shchuna the Rav does it every Shabbos. It's shtickle asik to have some tevel, unless he saves tevel from his wife's afrasha. That's also not pasha to save a piece of to take off a piece of the tevel and not to be matter with the original hafrasha. It's totally a little bit. In a chanam, she did, yeah. You're saying, and then everyone do that when their wife's mafashal, this hafrasha.
Yeah, tell her to have it.
Okay, and there are probably people who are do that.
They all use tevel matzah. Here we work even without it.
Yeah, if you have tevel and every Shabbos someone takes off for
this rod keeps one matzah.
Over there, it's min amukah. How about min
No, it's one amukah for the. The OU, whatever. The kashrus agencies have two ways to do it, whether it's locally or from far away. Okay, but in a chanami, l'chayr works. The question is if you're not sure. Meaning, could a person wake up in the morning and not have be besvivas a rav, not have access to any rav, and just say, yeah, I'm sure someone did it. I'm sure someone in Yerushalayim did it. So that's the need in the svarm. It probably is true, but there's a question of, do you have a chazaka that shliach as shlichus? If you're not even shlichus, no one was machayev anyone to do this. So unless someone has an achrayis to do it, not an achrayis to do it, the kids are. I saw in one of the svarim somewhere B'Shem Rabbi Yashiv said, since it's a regilos, if it's a regilos, then you can be samech on the fact that he did it, even if you're not sure.
He made chita, she made 8% this.
It only works.
Chita.
It works with regular.
Now my whole wheat.
Everyone's is whole wheat now.
No, it works on any wheat, every minute.
All weeks, all 5 grains?
I'm not good.
The emes is, what you're saying is totally in the big nekudas hakesef, in the beginning of Shin Chava, that to be mafresh, just to be mafresh on min, not min b'shein amino, but if there's akpad, you're saying if it's a different min, it would be a problem. Okay, but let's talk about regular chalas. Regular white flour chalas.
So your spell challah might be us, it can't relate to this.
And your whole wheat.
Unless you're
The makid usually.
Whole wheat is
whole
wheat.
versus the white.
We don't care about potato. It's
Nowadays, it won't be such a
I
question.
think that's telling in the nekudas hakesef that it's not a different min, it's just al sakpada. So the nekudas hakesef, the shach, and the nekudas hakesef, paskins like the levush neged the taz, and Shin Chava, but that's okay. Legabe hafrasha, not legabe tzir, legabe hafrasha. It's okay. So then the shtickle Torah we could start saying is like this. Let's say you're not sure if you could even know to be samech, even though I think arguably probably there was someone in any normal place, if you don't live, somewhere far away, mistama someone in your sviva in any Yerushalayim neighborhood had you in mind. But if you're not sure about that, maybe now we can say, but since me'ikar I didn't, I could probably samech on the fact that someone did mafresh for me. So now I'll give it to a katan, a mufla samech leish. Mufla samech leish is the eitzim mufla kfekes, because me'ikatesi, the going doesn't work. And maybe l'chumra, once we know that the ikar I didn't, you could probably rely on the fact that someone was mafresh for you. So maybe that would be an eitzah to then give it a katan. And like that, kol and what? It's what? No, if Bechiyah Gavna, if you're being samech on the fact that...
But then it's Sfiyah Moshe Var Mitzvah, because it was relying on the off chance that the Rav did it.
It's chinuch, it's still chinuch. We mechanech, how to be mechayim mitzvah. Or if it's a tzarech lekotam, we have another eitzah for Sfiyah, the Rashba, that's brought in Shemem Gimel, that you can be softened to him and Issa D'Rabbanan, and especially here it's only a chumrah. And the emes is, this question of Imaf Shal Chumrah, it's a very, very interesting question, because Kol Zed Masha Dibarnu, talking about either Tarev Challah or Tevel Gomer. But one of the Shailos that this gets into is if you have in front of you, we could talk about a Challah, that you're not Samech on the Hechsher, but there is a Hechsher, or what's a very common issue of different pairs for Yerakus, that it was Hufresh Chum Tzmaisis, just L'chumrah, you wouldn't eat from this Hechsher L'chumrah. So they bring a Chiddush, Shem the Chazanish, and that's in Derech Emunah over here, brought in Tzmaiser, and Chuvas Aragus quotes it also from B'Shem the Chazanish, and in Karb Sefer, Shabbos, I recorded here at the Ha'ara, because he brings there that he heard from an Eid Neman B'Shem, here from a Wayashiv, heard B'Shem the Brisker Rav, and he himself asked the Stipler about this Eitzah that they heard B'Shem the Chazanish, and the Stipler told him it's an Eitzah, and he said B'Shem all these Gedai Olam, that, now, they were presumably talking about if it has a She'eris Hechsher, I'm not saying on that, so to Ibermeiser that, on Shabbos, the Chazanish was make, or that's the Charedas, and you have to Ibermeiser for Shteitzer. So then you can do that on Shabbos. That's what the Chazon Ish was talking about. Nice. So the question is, Kol Echad B'fi Mashu. What do you think about this hechsher shalafanecha? So if you go to a place and you know it's Rabbanut thing, Chule, we're not going to get into all the politics now, but the point is, if it's a hechsher that Medina is mutter, it sounds like the Chazon Ish and you don't have to worry about the mirsikim attacking, and you could be mafresh. And then again, then maybe there's more of a tzad to be saying mechadakaton. There is an eitzah about. There's a question about being mafresh just b'machshava. The question of being mafresh b'machshava halacha l'maisa we mentioned before, and that's brought in Chazon Ish and in the name of the Chazon Ish many svarim that halacha l'maisa you can't be mafresh shumas ma'asos on Shabbos even just b'machshava, even though you can't see what the guy's doing. It's just loisun einu b'tzad zeh v'oichel b'tzad acher. But l'maisa halacha l'maisa it's also. But the emphasis is it's not a milsa pshita b'chlal. I quoted here in Oisir Ches, some of the Marmakomis. The Iker is the Toysus and Gittin, the Aflam Aleph, and some other Rishonim over there, but the Rashash and many Achronim, Achiezer, learn Pshat and Toysus, and it's a Rashba over there in Gittin, that the Emes, according to many Rishonim, Hafrasha b'machshav on Shabbos mutter, even from Tevel. So the halacha it's not true. The halacha it's not. But again, so you have to start cheshboning each case l'gufay, how bad of a Shas P'chak it is, how much you really have, what to be samich on. That there was someone in the ear who was mafresh for you, and if it's be'emes, if there's either a real hechsher on the food, or a real tzad that someone that you could be samich on, that someone was mafresh for you, but you don't want to be samich on either of these two things, that the Rav Ha'ir or the hechsher of whatever in front of you that's a hechsher you don't eat. There isn't eitz b'chi agavno to allow a katan samach a mufa samach ish, or to be mafresh from machshava and listen im b'tzad zeh v'oichel b'tzad acher. That would be another eitzah. Just the bottom line is that in the end of the day, if you have chalas that you forgot to mafresh in the tevel, so the pashib shad is you should just not eat them. But this in the base measures we're trying to be ma'ir and mala all the different stadim and eitzes and kukulas and all the tricks. And sometimes it's necessary for whatever shas chag you can imagine yourself. And sometimes then without the chalas, the mamish should be big tsar and busha and chule and covered abrias. So then we could derech klal mad in every hechtim so we'll find an eitzah.
Do you know the other Shemat Kabbalah Shas Shalila?
I don't know. L'chayr, if you're mavarer, you hear from him. You go to the rabbi. He says, "I took off." L'chayr, I don't see any reason why. It was mashmi some of the svarim, so maybe there's still makom the ian was there, being stayed a little bit. But shoot, I think that's
Once in your life, like higher of Shiva, or always?
Every shot.
No, I mean.
No. There's no din of Erev It's not mutal on you theoretically. No, there's no knas. It's a knas. Erev Tavshina. Don't find it. So in a chanami.
There's no Gemara there.
So it depends how nice your rub is, right? He does it every shot.
Assuming.